Happy to have my next guest back on the program. It's the Butcher, Bryan Battle, who will be back in action at UFC Paris on September the 28th when he takes on Kevin Jousset. Bryan, how you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me back on the show, man.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to chat with you, my man. One thing I noticed right out of the gate here when I was looking up this card is I think you're on the prelims, and I feel like you're a main card fighter now. Is that confirmed? Are you on the prelims? And if so, is that upsetting to you?
Um, I keep on hearing different things. Like some people say I'm the featured bout. So, it's sometimes it's down there, sometimes it's up there. We won't really know until it's set. But if I am on the prelims, then whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna bust this dude's ass, and everyone's gonna see it regardless because it's gonna be a highlight. So it doesn't matter where they put me on the card. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make the most out of it regardless. So prelims, main card. If I am on the prelims, they're gonna wish they put me on the main card. I'll say that much.
Okay. I guess at the end of the day, all that really matters is you go in there, you have the performance that you know that you can go out there and show everyone. So excited to see you back in there. Is this your first time going over to France? Have you ever been there before?
First time, brother. I'm very excited. You know what I mean? you know, uh, it's bittersweet because it's really a business trip, and the bulk of the time I'm going to be there. I'm going to be locked in. I'm not going to be, tasting all the food and everything, and really experiencing the culture. But regardless, I'm excited to go over there. You know what I'm saying? Be around a different type of people. You feel me? And really, if anything, showcase that I am as a fighter capable of going overseas and still putting on great performances.
Now, do you know what the travel is going to be like? Have you booked your flight yet? And how long will that travel be?
No, yeah, I booked my flight. I'm gonna be there Sunday to Sunday, or Sunday to Monday. Sunday, I'm gonna be there Sunday to Monday. So I am trying to take an extra day and really soak it all up as much as I can in one day. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I'll be there for a little bit. I talked to some people beforehand. They said there's really obviously there's a time difference, but there's really not that much to adjust to. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'll get out there a little bit earlier than I normally do, but nothing too crazy.
What were your initial thoughts when you first heard of this opponent? He's had two fights in the UFC. Believe he's 2-0 now. Did you like the matchup?
Man, I really didn't care about the matchup, to be honest. Like it had just been too long since I had an opportunity to fight. I had a couple fights where I was offered and the other person didn't accept the fight. So um really I was at a place where I was just like, yo, if he'll take the fight, let's run it. You know what I'm saying? In Paris, France, that's even better. So, you know, um, I know a lot of people are like caught up on the numbers and the rankings and everything like that. And I'm really just more concerned about running my stats up, you know what I'm saying? Taking out as many people as possible, and everything else will come inevitably.
Can you tell me who you were offered to fight that turned the fight down with you?
I don't know if I can tell you who turned it down, but I was supposed to be on UFC. I was offered a fight for UFC 300. I'll say that much. I was offered a fight for UFC 300, and it just didn't.
Oh
Oh,
man.
yeah, it's unfortunate. It was. I was stoked. But wait, okay, wait a second. Which one was the one that Connor was supposed to be on?
Uh yeah, I think it was
Yeah,
300.
then yeah, it was that one. Yeah, yeah. So Um, but by the time he had turned it down, it was still like, it ended up not being a Connor card and everything like that. But um, it was still a pretty badass card. So it would have been cool if I could have been on there. But whatever. And
Okay.
then there was another one, um, but yeah, no, I'm in a pretty precarious position where I'm not ranked. And it's like, hardcore fans know who I am, but I'm not like a massive name. So it's like the risk to reward ratio of fighting me isn't like amazing. Um, and so it's like, yeah, I just kind of got to take whatever matchups I can get at this point, and just keep on building the brand. You feel me?
I do. Well, again, the hardcores definitely know who you are, and it's just going to be a matter of time before ultimately you do crack that top 15. You said you weren't really worried about, necessarily maybe the rankings right now. It's more about building your stats. But when you look at the back half of that top 15, guys like Michael Morales, Neil Magny just lost. I think he's 15. Kevin Holland's there. There's a lot of interesting matchups. How do you feel like you match up with those guys, from 10 to 15 right now, if you were to get an opportunity after this fight?
Brother, 1 to 15, all of them can get it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like I said, I'm not concerned about the numbers like next to the people I fight, but at the same time, um, if I got offered a fight with anybody in the top 15 with like 3 weeks notice, like it's a wrap. I'm in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna whoop their ass. So, that's what I'm saying. I'm not really concerned. I'm just gonna go out there and keep on doing my thing and you know, keep on getting better and then eventually, show how good I am when I get the opportunity to.
Let's talk a little bit about this division since we're on that topic right now. Anyways, Bilal is the new champion. He went out there and beat Leon. What were your thoughts of that performance? And is Bilal someone that you feel like will hold on to the belt for a while?
Um, um, uh, the fight with Shavkat is interesting to me. Because if he can get Shavkat on his back, it would be interesting to see. Like, I think that fight will answer more questions about Shavkat than it will Bilal. But um, man, it's because he's gone on a run, but he's kind of like gone on a run through the old guard of welterweights. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of like the guys that are at the end of their career, kind of like on their way out, more or less. Um, it would be interesting, with the exception of Sean Brady. Sean Brady's still kind of in his prime, but yeah, no, it definitely seeing how he matches up with someone like Jack Della Maddalena, you know what I'm saying, or Shavkat, or Morales, you know what I'm saying, or me, you know what I'm saying. There just seems to be like a younger, bigger um crop of welterweights coming. So but Belal's the champ for a reason. He went out there and he put on a clinic against Leon. I do think Leon looked a little sluggish, but regardless, Belal went out there and did his thing. So you can't take anything away from him, but I can't really see him holding it for too long. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's a whole new wave of guys coming in right now. The old wave of guys is kind of coming out. So we'll see how he stacks up with us new guys. You know what I'm saying? As young bucks.
Yeah, fair enough. You mentioned Sean Brady. He's headlining the fight night happening this weekend. He's taking on Gilbert Burns. That's a really interesting matchup. Who do you see winning that fight?
Um, like on paper, I would say Sean Brady, but I think Gilbert does because Gilbert's just tougher. You know what I'm saying? Gilbert's such a fucking dog. You know what I mean? So, um, unless Sean catches him in a submission or something like that, I don't really see him being able to take Gilbert down and hold him down. So, and if it's on the feet, Gilbert's such a fucking animal. It's hard not to pick him. I think matchup wise, Gilbert takes that.
I'm actually leaning with you on that one. I just did a podcast the other day, and my co-host is going Brady. I'm with you. I'm going Burns there. One other fight that I wanted to get your take on: Joaquin Buckley's taking on Wonder Boy in early October. What's your analysis on that one?
Um, that'll be a fun fight, and that's actually now it's once again it's a really interesting thing because Wonder Boy, he's definitely older and towards the end of his run, and Buckley he's really hot right now, but what will be interesting is Buckley's trying to wrestle more, and if he wrestles, that'll be really interesting. But if he stays on the feet, he's gonna get dusted by Wonder Boy. Like it's not even gonna be the way he enters. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't really have an answer for Wonder Boy's kicks. So he's definitely gonna have to wrestle Wonder Boy. If he stands, I think we can expect another Wonder Boy highlight coming. But Buckley's tough, man. Buckley's a tough motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So that'll be a fun fight. Regardless, it'll be a fun, entertaining fight.
How good is Ian Gary?
Oh, he's not. I mean, once again, you gotta give the motherfucker credit where credit's due. He's undefeated. He's been undefeated in the UFC, and one thing I've come to appreciate in the UFC is no matter how someone looks to an extent, if they're being successful in the UFC, then that means they're good. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, eye test and like my opinion is that he's not that good, but you have to give credit where credit's due. And he's out there, he's doing his thing, he's fast, he's sharp. Um, I think I would whoop his ass, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he stays undefeated until we fight each other. You know what I mean? But hey, I'd be interested to see how he does against an elite grappler. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, I love that. And I hope down the line that you do get matched up with Ian Gary. I think that would be an unbelievable fight to watch. Outside of the champion right now, like if you could have one fight that you get matched up with someone that's, ranked, that's, popular, is there someone that stands out to you? Would it be Ian Gary because of his popularity, or is there someone else that you kind of have your eyes on that you feel like would, be a good person to get a win over and kind of even elevate yourself more?
Yeah, Shavkat Rakhmonov, brother. You know what I'm saying? He's the boogeyman of the division. You know what I mean? Like who better to beat than the guy that most people think is the best? So that's um and that's one of those matchups that's like at the moment far away. So I'm not like too caught up on it. But that is if you said I could fight anybody in the welterweight division, including Bilal, I'd probably still take Shavkat just because it's like opinion wise. You go out there, you're the first person to beat him. You got to be the best. You know what I mean? Like title or no title. So, yeah, I think that'd be a banger of a fight too. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah,
Okay.
Shavkat, what's up, brother?
Great answer. I love it, my man. Let's talk a little bit about the last time we did see you in action. That was back in March. Obviously, we know what happened with the no contest with Angelosa. Looking back on it now, like, has your opinions about things changed at all, or do you still feel pretty adamant about him wanting a way out of that fight?
10,000% he wanted a way out, man. Come on, man. It's there's my feelings have never wavered on that one bit. I think, the fight before me, he looked really good against another tall guy. You know what I'm saying? The commentators were really impressed, talking about, he might be a dark horse in the welterweight division. He looked good. And then he came out against me and he can't do anything. You know what I'm saying? He can't get a shot off. You know what I'm saying? Like his fight with Bonifim was closer than like it was way closer than my fight. He couldn't take me down. You know what I'm saying? Every time he came into range, I was hitting him with jabs that hurt him. You know what I'm saying? Jabs that hurt him. I didn't even land too many super clean right hands. So I hit him with the head kick. You couldn't see it because the camera angle, but his eyes rolled back when I hit him with the head kick. If I was a half a step in deeper, he probably would have gone all the way to sleep. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of problems for him in that fight. So, um, yeah, for sure, the moment. And it was like, once again, like, if you watch it, he headbutts me and I just go to push his head away because he's fucking smacked me in the head with his, smacked me in the chin with his head. And so it's like I didn't even really poke him. It wasn't like my thumb was like that going into his eye. It was like literally I was like pushing on his head. So it's like I pressed his eyeball. You feel me? So yeah, no, he was just he thought he had a way out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he thought he could get a DQ win or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, no, and now his at least to the hardcores, you know what I'm saying? His career will always be a little bit tarnished by that. You know what I'm saying? So, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, we're both moving on. He had his last fight. I got my next fight booked. You know what I mean? I'm happy to move on from the Angelosa drama.
Yeah. Well, I mean, going online, everybody was on your side of things about how it turned out, and a lot of people just agreed with your point of view. You looked amazing in there. I was lucky enough to interview you before the fight, and you told me that you're as good as you've ever been, that you were evolved, and you're going to show out in that fight. And that's exactly what you did. Can you kind of point towards, is there something specific that's helped you level up, that's really just gotten you to the level that you're at now?
Well, one is like, there's been improvements fight to fight to fight to fight to fight to fight. So, it's really all just like a culmination of all the improvements that me and my team we've been working on for years. You know what I'm saying? Like now you're seeing me pull off techniques that, I've been practicing for years, but I'm just comfortable enough to do them. You know what I'm saying? It's like I got a really late start. So there's still a lot of things I'm getting comfortable with in there. But that I would say um really being more dialed in on, really focusing on technique. And then the big one is a higher emphasis on strength and conditioning, just building my vehicle more. I don't know if I've used this analogy on here before, but I really feel like there's like a parallel between, race car drivers and fighters, right? You know what I'm saying? Like a race car driver, in order to win a championship, you need a top tier driver, but you also need a top tier vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Like you need both. You know what I'm saying? If you got a great driver and a bad vehicle, you might win some races, but you're gonna lose some just based off the vehicle. If you got a bad driver and a great vehicle, once again, you might win some races just based on the vehicle, but then you're gonna lose some races based on the driver. So, it's the same with the fighter. You need high fight IQ. You need the great mental, but you also need your body to be able to deliver on all those things. We've seen fighters who are extremely smart, but they just get overwhelmed with power and athleticism, and vice versa. You've seen incredible athletes come in, but they just get out techniqued and outsmarted. So I would say for me, earlier on, I definitely depended a lot on my head and concepts and tactics and everything like that. And now I feel physically able to just overwhelm people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to survive anything. They have to survive me. You feel me? So, um, I'd say just mentality shift, all those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just everything's just coming together. You know what I'm saying? Everything that I dreamed about when I first got started in this game, the vision me and my coach had when we first started, it's all just coming together right now. It's a beautiful thing.
And that last fight was in March. So all that time to get even better since then. How much better are you now?
A lot better. A lot better. I mean, just in every way, the strikes are cleaner. I'm hitting harder. I'm faster. More technically sound. I have a better array of weapons. My grappling feels super sharp right now. That's probably the biggest thing I've noticed is how much better my grappling feels right now, as opposed to, not saying that I didn't think my grappling was good, but I just feel super sharp with my grappling now. So, wherever the fight goes, I feel fantastic. So I'm excited to get out there, man. You know what I'm saying? I already feel like if the fight was this Saturday, I'd be ready to go. I'd be ready to fight tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really excited to get these last couple weeks of camp over with to really hit that peak and really be clicking on all cylinders and go out there and put on a show.
Mention camp. Anyone new to give you looks to get ready for Kevin, or has it just been kind of like the same training partners that you normally have at Carolina Combat?
At Carolina Combat, I've been working with a lot of the same guys. We got a young guy who's up and coming. He's still an amateur. Ali. Ooh, I think his last name is Arshkamov. Arshkamov, something. He's Chechen. You know what I'm saying? So he's got one of those last names. But he's been training with us for a long time, and he's taller, so he's been giving me more work than he normally would. And then there's a couple people outside that I've been working with. Maybe no one that you've heard of. I think I might be sparring with Ricky Rainey coming up. I don't know if you've heard of him. He fought in UFC and Bellator for a little bit. So, and once again, a taller guy that can give me that look. But yeah, man, finding tall guys, you kind of got to go wherever they are. You know what I'm saying? Like tall welterweights are um, not as common as you would think. You know what I'm saying? You got to go out and find some people who might be welterweights, might be middleweights, might be fast heavyweights. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, no, I've been very fortunate to be able to find people to work with. But Carolina Combat, yes. So long answer to a short question. Carolina Combat, yes. But I've ventured out to find some different looks elsewhere.
Okay. Where else have you been going?
Primarily, I'll go to Modern Warrior for sparring. That's my big brother Keith Richardson, former bare knuckle boxing world champion. That's his gym, and he gets a lot of people that come through there, so it's easy to find bodies to work with.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, the fight is literally right around the corner. We're in September now. The fight is September 28th, UFC Paris. Again, I mentioned the opponent, Kevin Jousset. He did have that UD win over Keenan Song. Have you watched a lot of tape on him as far as, what he brings to the table, or are you kind of leaving that up to your coaches?
No, I mean, I definitely, as far as the notes go, I leave a lot of that to the coaches. You know what I mean? Because I feel like they watch the fights a little bit differently than I do. But I'm always gonna watch at least a couple times just to kind of get a feel for how they like to fight. You know what I'm saying? See if I can pick up on things. And in both the fights he had, he looked sharp. You know what I'm saying? He looked quick, he looked sharp, he looked technical. You know what I'm saying? He's got a little style to how he likes to fight. Um, you know, once again, he's someone we haven't really seen what he looks like off his back. Because he has such a good strong judo base that when people have gone for takedowns, he's been able to counter them. So he definitely brings some interesting new problems to the table, especially at welterweight. I haven't had to fight anybody tall in a minute. I haven't had to fight anyone tall since the tough finale, you know what I'm saying? But with that being said, I have fought in higher weight classes, so I am familiar with fighting taller people. So, and on the flip side, even though I've only seen him fight shorter people, I know he's familiar with fighting taller people just because he trains at City Kickboxing with Dan Hooker and Stylebender and all those dudes. So I'm really looking forward to seeing, especially getting in there, seeing how he deals with my range. Um, and yeah, he's got some problems I got to solve, but I have a lot of problems for him to solve. So we'll see who can solve the equation first.
You mentioned the improvements that you've made with your physicality. Do you feel like if you guys do clinch up that you're going to be the stronger guy?
For sure, 100%. No doubt in my mind. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've always been really good with leverage. Period, because I played football. I was an offensive lineman and defensive lineman, so I was never really the strongest guy because I didn't lift weights in high school. You know what I mean? But I was still able to blow dudes 10 yards off the ball just because I was really good with leverage and understanding how to move people. And so now that I'm lifting weights on top of that, I'm fighting at a lower weight class with smaller guys. Like I haven't felt a welterweight who can match my strength for, if they can match my strength, they can't match it for more than 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Mhm. I know I was looking at Kevin's record. He actually fought Jack Della Maddalena early on in his career, lost to him. But did you watch that? Do you pay attention to much of that stuff early on in the career? Because obviously he's evolved a lot since then.
Yeah, because that was really early too. So that one I didn't really feel the need to watch because me and Jack have different styles. Like he's a shorter guy, you know what I'm saying, real boxing heavy. And once again, it's like I have to assume that Kevin is a very smart fighter. You know what I'm saying? He trains with a really good team, so he's made adjustments since that fight that was really early on in his career. So um, that fight in particular, I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to.
Okay. Do you anticipate this fight to be a striking match? Do you think you guys are going to be standing and trading, or like us when you close your eyes at night and you envision how it goes? Like, what do you think we're going to see come September the 28th?
Primarily striking, for sure. But I do see grappling situations. I mean, everyone I fought on has shot on me at one point or another. So, I wouldn't be surprised if I touched him a couple times and, he wanted to use his judo, you know what I'm saying? Or if we ended up, um, just because we both have to cover distance now, I can see situations where we end up in a clinch situation and, things just go from there. You know what I'm saying? Where it could be like a striking affair, like 90% of the fight, and then boom, we end up in the clinch and someone gets a takedown and then I finished the fight on the ground. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like, but I just because watching both of our fights, we just both seem more comfortable striking. But if it goes to the ground, I feel like I have a big advantage there.
You mentioned his judo background. If for some reason he judo tosses you, how upset would you be?
I wouldn't be upset at all, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to roll through that hole. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to just keep on going. It ain't my first time being tossed. I'll tell you that. I train with some dogs, so getting thrown and tossed around um isn't unusual. In fact, normally the only way to take me down is to get my feet off the ground. If my feet are on the ground, you're gonna have a really hard time getting my back on the mat. So oh, I'm back. I'm back. But I if he hits a judo throw, he'll hit it. He'll hit it. He'll get it one time. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll move on. Like I said, even if I end up on my back, I'm still gonna win the grappling exchange. So I'm not that concerned about it.
Can you give me an official prediction? How does this fight end?
Um, how the fight ends is really up to him. I see opportunities for it to end early. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think he makes it out of 2 rounds. I'm confident he doesn't make it out of 2 rounds. So I'll put him away within two.
And Bryan, with you having so much time off after the Losa fight, if you're healthy, are you hoping to fight again in December at UFC 309 or UFC Tampa?
That would be great. I mean, I'm really looking at UFC Tampa. UFC Tampa would be a lot of fun. Tampa's not that far away from where I live. And it's Florida. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go from fighting in Paris to fighting in Florida. Let's go. Come on, you know what I'm saying? Go to all the exotic locations. So nah, I would just off principle, I'd like to have 3 fights, at least 3 fights a year. So I'll definitely be looking forward to getting out of this and then getting right back into training camp and getting ready for the next one.
Awesome, my man. Well, best of skill come fight night. Can't wait to see you back in action. You really are must see TV. If people like watching combat sports, got to watch a Bryan Battle fight again, September the 28th, UFC Paris. Bryan Battle meets Kevin Jousset. Great talking to you again, bud. Before we do sign off, as always, I want to give you the floor. If there's anything you want to plug or anyone you want to thank, floor's yours.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me on the show. As always, I got to thank, head coach Tom Ziegler, boxing coach, Coach James, Coach John at CJJ. Like I said, my big bro Keith at Mount Warrior, Coach Dan Dandy at Velocity, Strength and Conditioning. Um, and shout out to Iridium, Jason House, Jacob Praga, Simon. Shout out to Sharps. If you have any betting app, go ahead and download the Sharps app so that you can. It's a social media app for your betting. So you make your bets, you post them on there, you talk shit. You know what I'm saying? You look at other people's bets, you see if they're good. Maybe if they have a success, then you can follow them. You know what I'm saying? You can make the same bets as them. Or if they make shitty bets, you can just talk shit underneath their posts. You know what I'm saying? So if you do a lot of betting, go ahead and download the Sharps app and go ahead and get on that. You know what I mean? But yeah, thank you for having me on the show, brother. I appreciate it.